Welcome to John the Voyager, the channel for travel and lifestyle. In this video, I'm going to present 5 dating tips for men. I have been to over 40 countries around the world, and I have the experiences for dating in different countries and different cultures. I wish to share my experiences and skills with you so that you can become better at dating girls. What I have learned in the past few years is that there are 2 categories of dating. There's the dating macroeconomics and there's the dating microeconomics. What I mean by macroeconomics are those overarching principles that guide your behavior during dating. Things like your race, your age, the country you're from, the country you're in. What I mean by microeconomics are the techniques that you can use while you're dating. These things include what you say to a girl the first time you meet her, how to set up the first date. Since it is especially relevant for this video to use generalizations and the social construct of race, I hope that I will not cause too much of controversy here. My goal here is to help you to get better with dating girls in general and give you the general trends around the world. Now, let us dive into the 5 dating tips for men. Dating tip number 1, location. You need to get your location of dating right. All things being equal, this tends to trump everything else. By location, I mean where do you date, which girl you date, in what country, and where are you from. There is a huge difference between races and the place of dating. The outcome can be overwhelmingly different and very, very unexpected. If you're an Asian guy, and by that I mean if you are someone who looks like a Chinese, a Japanese, or a Korean, your best bet is to be in the following regions: Eastern Europe, Turkey, Russia, and generally in Asia. Girls there are generally more open to dating Asian guys. You will have a relatively strong bargaining power in dating. For you, the terrains of USA, Canada, Western Europe are much harder. This is due to historical reasons and mostly also due to Western media. So you really are looking out for countries where K-pop has penetrated into the mainstream. If you can find a country where K-pop is very popular among girls, then you hit the jackpot. I just want to pause here and thank K-pop for what you have done. Thank you. Thank you. You are an incredible force of nature. You managed to boost the sex appeal of Asian men around the world. Well done, and please do more. If you're a white guy, then you are in a much better position in the following regions: Asia, especially China, Japan, Korea, Western Europe, USA, and Canada. That being said, you have the highest bargaining power in dating if you go to Asia. Girls there are generally attracted to white men. This is the reason why you sometimes would see an average-looking white guy walking down the street with a super hot Asian girl. This makes you scratch your head and think, how the hell did he get that girl? If you're a black guy, then you will do fine, generally speaking, anywhere, except maybe in Asia, you sometimes would find some soft discrimination. But it is not something that you cannot manage. Just to conclude the first dating tip, I just want to say that there are certain girls that would only date a certain race of guys. For example, there are girls that would only consider dating white guys. There are girls that would only consider dating Asian guys. There are girls that are only considering dating black guys, for example. I mean, there are of course exceptions to the rule. They would make exceptions, but generally speaking, they would prefer one race over the other. And yes, you heard it right, Asian guys. There are girls who only would date you. GoPro, stop recording. Dating tip number 2. You have to master the dating microeconomics. There are tons of advice and gurus out there for those kind of things. They usually call themselves pickup artists or gamers. They recently acquired a very bad reputation because they tend to use unfair tactics that are kind of aggressive. These techniques include social engineering, NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, real social dynamics, etc. etc. Pickup artistry started to gain publicity and popularity after Neil Strauss' notorious book on the dating scene in America. It's called The Game. I posted a link to a video that demonstrates his book. Just go up there and click on that. It is true that you can use those techniques to improve your dating life and to get laid more often. But it is really meant to be short term and to increase the number of you getting laid. It is not really meant for long-term relationship. Dating tip number 3. Get your socio-economic status in order. It is extremely important for girls to assess the socio-economic status of a man. This is due to reasons of evolution, and it is just really ingrained in our culture, in the brains of humans. All things being equal, the man with a higher socioeconomic status will have better chance in dating girls. This means that you are better off investing very early on in increasing your socioeconomic status. You can do that by investing in your education, and by doing so increase your future income and also gain soft and hard skills while you are doing it. For example, gain skills in dancing, sport, making coffee drawings. I personally observed a general trend in how the girl weigh in the factors that I have mentioned by now. So during the teen years, it is very important for a girl that you look great, that you are handsome and you have muscles and you have a good physique and you are fit and you are tall and you are muscular and you are masculine. And generally being popular in high school is a big deal. But when they get into their 20s and 30s, that becomes less and less important. What becomes more important is the socioeconomic status, because it is at this age that the girl will consider to have a long-term relationship that could potentially lead to marriage. But a funny thing is, when they get older and ranging from 40s onwards, they tend to drop anything else but come back to look and age again. So for them, it's more important that if they have high economic status already, say they have high income as a woman, late in their 40s or 50s, then they would tend to go for younger dates and dates who are again muscular, tall, popular, masculine, kind of thing. And because those women have already a long time of experience in dating and in treating guys, they know what the young guys want and they usually can get them. But back to the guys. Your socioeconomic status can trump your age and your look. So you don't have to be the best looking guy, and you don't have to be the youngest guy, and you don't have to be the fittest guy or the most popular guy, but you certainly should command a high socioeconomic status, because then that compensates everything else. It is not unheard of to see a really young, hot girl walking down the street hand in hand with an old dude. Dating tip number 4. Know your culture and learn how to use it. I divide culture into 2 different broad categories. The third category is a region or country that has a strong cultural imprint. The second category is a region or country that has a weak cultural imprint. And the difference is as follows. A culture with a strong cultural imprint is a country like Japan. Japanese people grow up in a very strict, hierarchical, and very well laid out plan in their social construct. As an example, you can just go on YouTube and observe how a Japanese traditional tea ceremony is prepared. Most of the sequence is just really pretty much the same over the last few centuries. So they really observe the long-standing tradition of their historical culture and this makes their culture extremely heavy, extremely imprinted in the brains of their people. And this also attracts a lot of foreigners, because foreigners from a weak cultural imprint country would come there and just be bombarded with those very well-defined, strictly ordered, hierarchical, cultural, I would say, expression. So if you go to a traditional Japanese theater or traditional Japanese play, opera, you will notice that it is just something out of the world. That is an example of strong cultural imprint. Now let's go to an example of a weak cultural imprint. So weak cultural imprint is exercised in the USA, for example. What I mean by weak cultural imprint is really that if you're an American and you grew up in America, you can choose pretty much, you have the freedom to choose pretty much any culture that you want. So basically you can choose to live like a black dude, you can choose to live like an Asian dude, you can choose to live like an Italian dude, kind of all these cultures come and clash together and creating this melting pot. And sure, there are some conflicts, but you have the opportunity to choose and elect those cultural stuff from other cultures and you combine them into your own. Let's go back to dating. Girls who grow up in a strong cultural imprint country tend to prefer guys who come from a weak cultural imprint country. Presumably, this is because they enjoy the freedom of being with that guy, and they enjoy the kind of difference of culture, and also maybe it's because they're not pressured into doing anything that they have been doing their whole life. And more importantly, guys from a weak cultural imprint country tend to be better with girls than guys from a strong cultural imprint country. That is because guys from a weak cultural imprint country don't have the taboo of talking about sex, girls, and going out and date. Guys from a strong cultural imprint country would face that taboo, and they would miss out on the opportunity to train themselves in how to treat girls. So here comes the guy with, say, 10 years of substantial training because he dated 100 girls in the USA, and then he comes to Japan or China or Korea, and for him, which is like, yeah, I've been there, I've done it, let's do it again. Guys from Asia typically would have less chance to train themselves in the art of dating. Therefore, there's a skill gap. I wish to conclude this tip with the following observation. A lot of guys who are considered naturals in dating have been dating or going out with girls very early on in their teens. So when they are still a teenager, when they're still in their puberty, that's when you can learn very quickly and very well, and it will get imprinted in your brain how to treat girls, how to go out with girls, what to say to girls, what does it mean if a girl looks into you for longer than 5 seconds. It's very fast if you learn it at that age, but if you pass that age, then to learn it after it is just really, really hard. It's like studying a new language when you're 30. Dating tip number 5. Your physical look matters. Yes, I put this point at the bottom because simply it can be trumped by anything that I mentioned before. Your look as a guy is important, but it is not that important to a girl. As I mentioned before, it really depends on your target group. So if you're targeting the younger generation of girls, then obviously you need to go to the gym, do a lot of sport. But if you are targeting someone to get married, then it is really more about your socioeconomic status. So my tip of how to get fit is the following. Find a sport that you intrinsically like to do, that you would still do if, hypothetically speaking, someone would give you a penalty every time you're doing it. So that could be swimming, it could be running, it could be tennis, it could be golf, it could be I don't know, YouTubing, and because you have to go around and you have to kind of carry the tripod, and it's heavy. Is it? That is like 2 kilograms. And get styled up. I mean, you can improve your look very, very immensely if you just style up. Go out and buy totally new clothes and change your closet, and go out with a few friends, like individually, with a guy and then with a girl, and to see their different opinions. If you have a friend who's very good in their style and really into fashion and knows a lot about fashion, then go out with him, invite him for coffee and dinner, and just ask him for tips and feedback, and go shopping with him. So, and also another tip, especially for Asian guys, just watch some of those really popular K-dramas from Korea. It is something that you can just copy. You can buy the clothes that looks like Korean, and you can also observe the K-pop stars, how they move, what they say, what vocabularies they're using, and their style, and how they style their hair, for example. Go check it out. Alright, these are the 5 dating tips that I have for you guys. Please do comment in the comment section and tell me if I could have helped you in getting better with dating girls. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I also hope that you will find the perfect match. If you do find your perfect match, please comment just below and just share the great news with everybody. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel. This way you can get updates on new videos that I make, because I will make more and better YouTube dating tutorial videos for you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.